Internet, what is really, really, really good? You know who it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And of course, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And yo, before we get to this XA business, let's talk about some XA business, because I meant to talk about my thoughts like really quickly on that Dr. Pac-Man stuff, but here it is in full though. It's like that scene, that's not even that of a scene. That is just the right play. Because when you have Bandai Namco backing from inside and out of Rider for years, because we've seen their hits and tech, because Shiaki played Bloodline Rebellion in one of the early episodes of Shikenja. I remember in an episode, I think that was, I want to say, I don't know, that wasn't Koryuji, that was Ninja. Last year, so it was some kid playing Rise of the Incarnates. It's like stuff is everywhere. So for them to be like, we got a throwback video game Rider this year. Let us leverage one of our biggest and most important IPs in Pac-Man. But the problem with that, there ain't no problem, because see, that stirs a little bit into the business side of things because of the love Miss Pac-Man don't get, because she's not officially a Bandai Namco thing, because she's owned by like what would be the remnants of Midway, which were Bally at one point, which is now the WB. It's weird as hell, but Miss Pac-Man was the better game. She thick as fuck. Everybody love her. You know, that's one that one right there, you know, that was for me, but you know, but we will talk about Miss Pac-Man and her importance to me another time. But yo, I'm interested to see what this is. They bringing back the previous Heisei Riders, all this, the Neo Heisei Riders and stuff. I'm interested to see what that movie gonna do. But to the business at hand, as it were, episode number 3. More of this world building, more of these dynamics. And Tiger is Blackjack. So he's automatically best character in the show now, because he's based off one of the best characters ever to ever exist in anything, because Osamu Tezuka is your god. So there you go. See? That was a review. That's it. So I am the... Nah, not even gonna do it. But seriously, I didn't even peep that last week in the... I didn't even peep the whole Blackjack vibe last week during the preview for the next episode, because when you look at stuff briefly, you don't think about it. But as soon as Tiger came on screen, it's like, yo. Well, it's like, well, then we'll think about it like this. If you have a show that is about doctors, why not have a doctor in the show emulating one of the greatest doctors in all of media history? And Blackjack is that dude, because again, Osamu Tezuka is your god, the end, okay? Let's just, there. You should play Astro Boy Omega Factor, because that game is fucking amazeball, since we are talking about a rider in video games. But anyway, I did not know I was signing up for another MacGuffin Hunt. Too many MacGuffin Hunts. I really thought that this game was simply going to be Conquer the Games. Nah. The person to collect all the games will have the power to defeat the Buckster. So, here's the question we now have to ask, that at least I'm presenting myself, is, will this be XA's mid-season power-up, or the power-up that gets him through the show? Because it's like, it was like a whole bunch of more questions brought up. Like, especially when they talked about that Tiger's game was a game that was unfinished and bang bang shooting. That brings up some interesting questions. You have a whole lot of dynamics going on. And when you add collect the Rider Gashats, aka MacGuffin Hunt, to the mix, I'm like, yo, this show trying to do some shit. It's like everybody everywhere. It's like we sitting up here, we betting gas hats on the outcome. I'm like, one of these games, they're gonna be playing Russian roulette for the motherfucker. Like, yo, put 5 bullets in the chamber. I'm like, this show is going nuts. I'm like, dude, Snipe, yo, I'm feeling that. I'm like, he sitting up here, he pressed the A button, yo, sniper thing, come on, he locking on him up. Ooh. Man, I can't even talk to y'all about that, because I got some crack in the work, so I can't even talk to y'all about that. I'm going to holler at y'all probably in January on that thing I just had that fantasy about. I'm going to holler at y'all because y'all going to see that shit live. I'm going to let y'all know it's coming January. And, you know, because, you know, I got to get some cheese together, but I can do it. But look, I'm like, I don't know what this show wants to do. I have no idea. I thought 2 episodes in, maybe. But now you got MacGuffin Hunt. You got, it's like, it's like when I think, because it's like I can't think about this as the plot of a writer show. I have to think about this as I would the plot of a video game. That makes sense. That everybody is competing for this power. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's Gone-like. Is that everybody wants to go this route, except somebody wants to be the one to collect all 10 gas hats. And the person who collects all 10 will be able to combine this into some power, which, again, I think will be a mid-season toy that they need to sell before Emu gets another power-up. And again, speaking of Emu, and I will talk about him for a second, I'm not surprised that Tiger got all meta and shit and was like, When you put on a gamer driver, you change your fucking flow, don't you, my dude? And it was just like, I'm like, wow, like this show going nuts. And it's like my thing is that because I want to just talk about Tiger because I'm just all over the place with this review, but I like how they present his character because he the swag badass. Because see now you have the center nucleus of your show, who is this character with this duality. You got the asshole, and now you got the swag badass. See, this show is building up characters that I like, and the thing that gives me worried because this, I don't know if this is going to be another wrinkle thing where they build a character up that could be some hot shit and do nothing with it. Or be like how Kiriko was at the beginning of Drive, who was an amazing character, and then, but she went to the side a little bit. I don't know if this is going to be like that, but I don't want them to start building up these characters and hype, and then, they just start falling off. Because, again, this is a show that we talked about last week that has to carry an ensemble cast with multiple dynamics in play with an ultimate term to get everybody focused on the goal at the end. Because, see, the whole show can't be... You can't have a 40, 50 episode show that is collective fucking MacGuffins. It can't be that. So, again, I really think that this might be one of those Gone things where this is what it is up front because we need to have we just need to have a focal point for the plot and everything else can flow into that. And once somebody collects the 10 gas shots, and then we can get to business for real. So... if you want your video game metaphor for today, technically, the plot is like the way you're supposed to play Ghouls and Ghosts. Gotta play it twice. So, the initial game is collecting MacGuffins. Who knows what the new game plus is gonna be, but right now, the game is now, you gotta get to the end to get to the beginning again, but to get to the end, you gotta collect the MacGuffins, so that's where we are. So, to review something about Dr. Pac-Man, Osamu Tezuka is your god, Tiger's a fucking beast, something about MacGuffins, and stuff that's in the preview that we won't talk about because I do not allow myself to talk about those things when it comes to reviewing an episode because previews don't count. I'm like the other thing, because I don't want to get out here without forgetting that the dynamic that I thought was really important that I really just want to focus on for a minute is that I am glad that that this episode focused on that character Yuki in a way, because he was a snotty, bratty asshole regardless of that, is understanding that this is just another dynamic to how the Buckster works. So, again, that's just another dynamic of understanding that when people are stressed out, that it powers up the monster. That the faster somebody is stressed out, the more their life drains and stuff like that. And it's like, and then that goes into the other thing, is what happens when a rider gets a game over. How much you can die, what does that mean? Do you get knocked out the suit? Or you dead in real life? Questions with no answers. How about that for these nuts? Questions with no answers. But yo, The fight this episode was hot though. I'm like, yo, Snipe was doing dirt. Like I said earlier, he was just running around dumping on shit. From now on, I'm calling him Call on Duty Black Cop. That's his name, because he just walk around dumping on foes. Dap, 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 just dumping. That's what we call him. So every time you hear me say Call on Duty Black Cop, y'all know I'm talking about Tiger or Kamen Rider Snipe. It's interchangeable now. We call him Call on Duty Black Cop. That's what we call him. So yeah, it's official. His name is Call on Duty Black Cop. And if you got an issue, you come holler at your boy. I got my boy with them Call on Duty Black Cop with them dumpers in the cut. We'll show you that family matters. Not me? Nah, I'll just fuck with y'all. But look, another excellent episode of Kamen Rider XA. I'm loving this show, man. I'm like, I don't need to get into a 2-minute diatribe about this show and what it can be. I spent the first 2 of these doing that. I'm going to let this show do whatever it wants to do, because this show is becoming amazing every second. It's building up this ensemble in a way that I can appreciate that. Again, because I'm not going to try to say, but I got to say this. I have hope that this show can do dirt. That all I can do is sit and watch the game play out. That's all I can do. And that's all I will do. So, with all of that being said, I got some other stuff I have to take care of this evening, so I am going to indeed do just that. Schedule permitting, you'll be hearing from me and Jay this weekend, and I got my own little separate stuff. And, you know, like I said, once we get back to business at hand, man, I had a family through, and we can sit and discuss where it is that we are. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I am, of course, the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And, of course, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that, get started!